Another new capability for SOLIDWORks 2007 is the Dimxpert. What the Dimxpert does is automatically dimensions manufacturing features. So let's take a look. If we take a look at the standard dimensioning capabilities, we have the standard smart dimensioning, which you're all used to from SOLIDWORks 2006 and before. What the Dimxpert does is it gives us additional capabilities where it goes off and extracts those features out of the part and fully constrains those for manufacturing purposes. Let's go ahead and give this a start. First, we'll go ahead and define our origin, where we want a dimension to. And for this particular view here, we'll use the polar dimensioning scheme and go ahead and select one of the circles. Now you see what SOLIDWORks does, it goes out and puts the bolt circle in, gives me all the appropriate manufacturing information that's required to fully define those circles. Go ahead and add the other one here. You can see SOLIDWORks does the same, and then likewise for the center hole. So you can see how SOLIDWORks can really help people automate their drawing creation and dimensioning of these manufacturing features. Let's come over into this view here, and simply by choosing a different location for the vertex, we'll go ahead and add some additional ones, this time using a linear dimensioning scheme. Choose this circle here. You can see SOLIDWORks goes ahead and puts the dimensions on, in this case 2 of those. And then for the 5mm holes, you can see it's also using the snap line capability to automatically snap that information, or snap those dimensions out to the side. And then it goes ahead and adds the last hole automatically for us. So you can see some great new tools. Let's come up here into the top view here, add one more dimension to our drawing here. In this case here, we'll just go ahead and choose this slot just to show how SOLIDWORks will dimension automatically a slot defined by your predefined settings that you have in your tools options. So some really great tools there for automating the detailing of your drawings. SOLIDWORks 2008 introduces some fantastic new tools for documenting your models. Here we're just going to open up a couple of parts and we'll take a look at some of these new techniques. First part here is a part, and we all know that many times when we create our parts we don't often use the same dimensioning methods and techniques that we would use or references that we would use for manufacturing. So often the design intent dimensions don't always match what is required for manufacturing. So what SOLIDWORks has done is we realize that that's an important issue, and using some new Swift technology, we're leveraging some new capabilities to create an auto dimensioning scheme, or Dimxpert, for parts. We have the ability to do prismatic or turn parts, plus or minus or geometric dimensioning and tolerancing, adhering to all the latest 3D annotation standards that are available. Here I'm going to choose a primary dimensioning reference, a secondary, and a tertiary, and we'll go ahead and accept that. And SOLIDWORks adds a lot of dimensions to my part. Well, in this case here, SOLIDWORks has interrogated the entire model for all the manufacturing features. Once it's done that, it's applied all the dimensional information for that part. How do I know if my part is fully dimensioned? Well, we have a status tool that allows you to do that. Green means go, everything is fully defined. If I had yellow surfaces or gray surfaces, I'd know I'd need to add some additional dimensions manually. Now we all know that many people have to still detail their models, so we're just going to leverage this information that we just created and just create a drawing of it. So here we're going to import dimensions and leverage those Dimxpert annotations and just drag out our views. All those dimensions come across, add an isometric view as well. And then maybe we want to have a little color on our drawing, so we can do that as well. And here all I have to do at this point is a little drawing cleanup, and I am ready to go. Fully detailed drawings. Let's take a look at another part here. This one here we're going to do a little bit differently. We are going to do an automatic dimensioning, but this time using GD&T standard. Here we'll choose the primary dimensioning references, this hole, and then this face as well, and we'll go ahead and accept that. Again, SOLIDWORks goes out and adds all those annotations automatically for me, so I really don't have to do any thinking or any worrying about whether or not I've added all the appropriate dimensions. How do I know if I have all the dimensions? Well, we give you the status tool. All the faces that are green are fully constrained, fully defined for manufacturing purposes. Now, before we created a drawing of this part, oftentimes we have some customers, some of our customers don't create drawings at all. They actually use 3D annotations. So here we can publish this as an e-drawing. They can open it up and then have access to all the GD&T information that was previously created for this particular model. So you can see all those dimensions are now come across in our e-drawing, and all the information required for this particular component to be manufactured or inspected, it's all right here on this e-drawing.
Solidworks MBD provides an integrated drawingless manufacturing solution which helps you define, organize and publish 3D product manufacturing information (PMI) and 3D model data into industry standard file formats. Convenient 3D views help you capture the correct orientation and PMI for displaying manufacturing operations. Each of these 3D views shows critical manufacturing information in an easy to digest manner. You can also show all the annotations and use the dynamic annotations capability to automatically fade annotations as they move in and out of the view plane. To capture some more information for this part, you simply reorient the model to front view and capture a new 3D view. When capturing the view, you can also capture a display state, configurations and other annotation views. You can include annotations from other views such as this dimension and datum C and change their annotation plane easily so they show up correctly in the front view. Now you can start to add dimensions to this part and tidy them up. You can always go back to your front 3D view at any time to check that everything looks okay. Adding a squareness tolerance to this end face of 0.5 mm relative to datum C completes the PMI data for this model. The front view is now complete and everything looks really good. The next step is to output the information for viewing by third parties in industry standard formats such as 3D PDF and e-drawings. Solidworks MBD comes complete with a library of templates. You can easily customize these templates or create your own for assemblies as well as parts. This example has a main graphics window along with 3D view tabs along the bottom. The text boxes along the top are populated with custom properties directly from Solidworks, and this text box will prompt you to enter a description. The text box on the right contains standard notes. When you publish a 3D PDF, you get the option to choose a template and select which views to output. You can also see the custom properties and enter a description as prompted. When you view the PDF, you can see all the 3D views along with the custom properties and description that you entered earlier. If you look at the front view, you can also see that selecting the dimension cross-highlights the geometry, making it easy to see which dimensions belong to which faces. Creating 3D PDFs is both fast and flexible and reduces the errors of interpreting 2D drawings. You can also easily output to e-drawings. E-drawings also allows you to view and manipulate all of the 3D views. Selecting the dimensions highlights the geometry references, making it very easy to understand the model without the need for a 2D drawing. In this multi-body framework example, we can use the 3D views to easily organize the critical information. However, long slender parts like this can pose a challenge to communicate your model to others. For this reason, SolidWorks MBD introduces a new way to view models, the Model Break View. This new tool allows you to quickly apply breaks directly to your solid model. Let's take a look at how to create a model break view of this part. SolidWorks presents planes to define the break. The orientation of these can be defined using default planes or by referencing geometry. Simply drag the plane manipulator to the desired location and SolidWorks takes care of breaking the model. Multiple breaks can be applied to the same view and can be created in different orientations. After defining your breaks, you can choose your break style. First, we'll change the break gap to 50 mm to tighten things up a bit. There are several display styles available: a straight break, a zigzag, which can be cut across the whole model or individually across each body or component. The angle can be adjusted to suit your needs. A single zigzag is available as well as a pipe break. Notice that the integrity of all the existing dimensions is preserved. The newly created model break view appears as a new configuration, and this can be captured in the 3D view. These model break views are a great way to communicate manufacturing information in these long 3D models. Solidworks MBD provides the tools for the creation, organisation and output of product manufacturing information and helps reduce cycle times and improve quality.
SOLIDWORKS 2008 introduces a whole new capability for doing tolerance analysis or tolerance stack-up. Here we have a simple little assembly. I'm just going to animate the collapse of this assembly just so you get a good understanding. So this part comes in. You can see this blue part has a little lip on the back side of it that lines itself up with that underside edge. So you get a good understanding of how it goes together. Now what our goal is for this is we have another component that needs to sit in between these two machine faces here, and it's 100 millimeters, and we need it to be this distance in between here for the fit up to work needs to be plus or minus a half a millimeter. So how do we know, based on all the stack up and how things are put together, whether or not we have that? So let's go ahead and do a tolerance analysis of this assembly and get a good understanding. So I'm going to measure between here, and that tells us it's 100 nominal. And then what we need to do is we need to tell SOLIDWORKS how these parts are assembled together. First, we're going to talk about the assembly sequence. This is going to be our base part, then we'll assemble this one, and then we'll assemble that one. Once we've identified the order in which the parts are going to be assembled, we need to identify how the parts fit up to each other. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to line up these faces, and then we'll align these holes. These holes aren't critical for this particular analysis since we're just kind of doing a stack up in that direction, but you can see you have the capability to add that information. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to identify this face here, because we're going to take this purple part and mate it up, and then as opposed to lining up the holes, we're going to choose this lip on the underside here to line it up, and that's going to help establish our position of the purple part. Green always means go in SOLIDWORKS. You can see that we've identified all the critical items for that need to be identified, and then we'll go ahead and calculate our stack-up analysis. Here it tells us what our nominal is. It tells us our minimum, our maximum, and then root sum squared minimum and maximum as well. By clicking on these, you can see that it highlights that value down here, so we do have that value, and also get some feedback on the screen. If I go to min, max, you get an understanding of how that looks in a kind of an exaggerated manner. If I click on one of these items here, it tells me what it is from the riser part here. It's 29% contributor. Here I have some more contributors and then some small percentage contributors down here. For this one here, let's just change this tolerance value. Instead of 0.5, let's make it 0.1 and recalculate. And you can see that now we're really 1.3 over 1.3 under as our new values here. So we still haven't met our goal of plus or minus 0.5 millimeters. Next thing we want to do is we'll take a look at some of our contributors down here as well. And if you notice here, it tells me these are both from the same part, from this holder part. You can see those two dimensions that show up in my on the screen there. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this part because we want to see how this part was dimensioned. Oftentimes the way a part is dimensioned can help with the stack up. You can see we can probably tighten up some of these tolerances. I don't know that it'll get us to where we want. If we look at this dimension here, you can see the two faces. It's saying we want to dimension from the top face down to this lip, and then for here we're going to dimension from the top face down to this notch down here. Well, what we really want to do is we want to change our dimensioning scheme here. And this isn't going to increase the cost of the part at all. All we're going to do is just change the scheme. I'm just going to add a location dimension between this face and this back ledge here, and we'll just place that on the screen there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to locate this bottom surface from the top edge, which is typically going to be an unmachined face, and then this back ledge will be positioned directly from that bottom face. So what it's doing is we really haven't introduced any more tolerance, any tighter tolerance into our part. We've just changed the dimensioning scheme. Let's go back to our assembly and then rerun our analysis here. So you can see just by making that one change, we're now plus or minus 0.8 on our minimum and maximum. So we were able to take off a half a millimeter just by doing that. Here you can see this this dimension here, the one we just added, is now our primary contributor. Let's go ahead and click this one and make this 0.2 millimeters. We'll recalculate our analysis, and you can see we've now met our goal of 100 plus or minus 0.5 millimeters. Tolanalyst is going to be a fantastic tool for analyzing your assemblies for tolerance stack-up issues and allowing you to solve them.